If you're tired of all the BS and get-rich-quick Amazon KDP advice and just want clear, simple basics without the fluff, this video is for you. In today's video, part of a free series, I'll be breaking down real books from our author community on Amazon, showing what's working, what opportunities are being missed, and what mistakes need fixing. The goal is simple: to help authors improve their listings, rank higher, and sell more books. Alright, so let's jump right into this video. And just quickly, in case you're new to our channel, Cleo and I have been selling books on Amazon for quite a long time, and we have sold over 240,000 books. And we have a free authors Facebook group with 230,000 members. And with our self-publishing Titans tools, we have helped over 300,000 authors publish their books. So that's just a bit about us, and let's do the first book here. So here we have a fiction book, and this looks really exciting. This is going to be a fun one. Unfortunately, we're not currently getting many sales, so let's see what we can do to help this author out. So looking at the cover, I think the cover looks epic, really fun, really exciting, really mysterious. I wouldn't have any changes for this cover. I like the font, I like the way it's positioned. I like the way the author name is positioned and the size of that. I like the face and the mind and the crime scene behind it. So that's all really cool. So I really don't think that's the reason this book is not selling. So let's look at the title and subtitle. So Dark Presence, a paranormal thriller. So also nothing wrong with that. Dark Presence, it actually sounds mysterious. I like it. And I really like the use of this subtitle. Usually for fiction books, it's a little bit harder to have keywords, but here we managed to have the word thriller in it, so that is helpful to some degree. So also nothing wrong with the title and subtitle, so good job so far. So just guessing so far, I think the biggest problem is probably your 7 backend keywords and maybe just a lack of Amazon ads and social media marketing, but let's just finish this audit and see if we can find any mistakes or things to improve. So the description is fine. I guess the one thing that we are missing here is some bullet points of what the book is about. So that could be a slight improvement, and we can put that below here. So see if you can come up with 5 points of your book, and I think that'd be better. So let's look at your A+ content. Okay, so we don't have any A+ content, so that's unfortunate. And this was published a year ago, so it should be alive by now if there was any. So I highly recommend you add some A+ content. Maybe you can show more images like this. Maybe you can show some characters, maybe some quotes about the book or about the characters, or just anything that could be interesting. And I think that would really help you. Looking at your categories here, we can see thriller, suspense, and then women. So maybe this is a category that could be changed since we're not only targeting women. Maybe there's another one that could be more suitable. That could be a slight improvement here. Great job for having an image there. That's really good. And I can also see that you have a description here. So it definitely looks like most of the things are done right with this listing. This is also a cool image here. And you have reviews, so you're really doing almost everything right. So just to recap, I think the slight improvements would be on the description and then your A+ content, which is missing, and then potentially swapping out this category for another. So really no major mistakes, so great job on having a good listing. So I'm really convinced that this is just a problem with your 7 backend keywords. And then potentially just not enough marketing with Amazon ads or on social media just to get the word out about your book. Yeah, so that would be that. If you want help with your 7 backend keywords, feel free to share them in our Facebook group, and then I can help guide you on there, but without seeing them, it's a bit hard. But I wish you the best of luck, and let's go on to the next one. All right, so here we have a journal, it looks like, in a workbook, and also not currently getting any sales, unfortunately. And this says currently unavailable, so maybe it's already unpublished, but just for fun of it, we're going to look at this listing to see why this book never sold and took off. So that could still be helpful for this author and for other people as well. So looking at the cover, obviously we have a nice design here. Usually I'm not a big fan of cursive, but this is a good one. It's easy to read. And I like the way this text is placed as well. The only slight critique would be that the margins, that the border on the left side is much wider than on the right side. So that's a small thing that could be easily fixed. So let's look at your title. So The Little Things, a self-care journal and workbook to help you understand yourself better. So self-care journal and workbook are the main keywords, but the main thing that's missing here is your main niche, your main long tail keyword. So that is probably the main reason this book never took off. I'm going to try and help you out with our Chrome extension here and just see what kind of Amazon search suggestions we have for that. So here we can see that self-care journal by itself has a opportunity score of only 3. So it's not the best opportunity. We do have good demand, which is great. And with these scores, with the demand opportunity, we always want to find ones that have 5 or higher on both of them. And obviously the higher the better, but 5 would be the minimum. So looking at this, there's a lot of keywords here that have a lower opportunity. We have one here that's 4, so that's a little bit better. Self-care journal with prompts men with an opportunity of 6. Self-care journal kit, I guess having a kit is not really possible with KDP. And then we obviously always want to stay away from brands like Clever Fox and trademarks like that. But yeah, so I would just continue looking at other keywords until we find a really good one. So we'll just do one more search quickly just to see if we can help you out. Self-care kit, that's interesting. It's almost something that you'd want to do with Amazon FBA and printing different booklets or journals and stickers or something. Seems like it's definitely a good opportunity. Self-care journal stickers, that's also interesting. Obviously not KDP. Yeah, so obviously there's a lot of sub-niches here, but I would just take a look at this to see what better keywords there might be. And then also for workbook and notebook and just different keywords. It's always good just spending a little bit of time on that and trying different things out and see what you can find. But that's probably the main reason this book is not selling. And then slight tip for your title. To make it look nicer and more professional is just capitalizing these words just like you did in your title. And that will also obviously just help getting more click-through rates and more purchases because it looks better. Let's take a look at your A+ content. So it's also a bit of a missed opportunity, not too much here. We do have an author description, so that's good, but no profile image. So that's also not the nicest to see when you're trying to buy a book that you don't see who the author is or who the brand is. So slight opportunity missed there, but we do have some reviews, so that's good. Yeah, so the main thing for this is just the title and the keywords. I think if you improve that, I think you do much better. So let's check the next book here. So here we have a book, currently a bestseller rank of 6 million and not getting any sales. So you can see this book is being sold or trying to be sold for $32. So that's quite high. I'm guessing that this is a color interior, so it has to be a little bit more expensive. But I would be curious if we can also try making this in black and white and still making it look nice. And that way you could have it much cheaper and still have better profit margins. So that's the first thing that sticks out for me. I like the way the cover looks. I like the border. I like the watercolor design here. I like the text placements. So this is definitely not the reason for not getting sales. Let's look at your title here. ABCs of natural foods, fruits, vegetables, herbs, and nuts. So I guess the main thing missing here is also your main keywords. So let's see what we can find here. So most of these keywords here are not coming back with any books in it. So I would just do some research on your competitors to see what kind of keywords they are targeting. And then you definitely want to have a nice long tail keyword in here. But otherwise, this title is nice. I like the subtitle too. We are just missing the main keyword, the main niche. Okay, so looking at your description, you have bullet points, which is great. So the bullet points are a little bit short. Most of them are just one words. So what I would do is instead of having many bullet points, just having 5. And then like always, I recommend having it just below this line, but definitely try to make them longer. Maybe try for going a length like this, or at least that kind of length, just so the reader can get more of an idea instead of just one word. So this by itself is a little bit too short. Yeah, so if this is about natural food, reading the word alphabet doesn't necessarily help a person know what the book is about. And in nature, same thing. Gardening, maybe you talk about gardening, but it's also not really clear. So just elaborate on those single words to make it into better bullet points, and that will make it much better already. And then here we have A+ content, which is good, but it's a little bit lonely looking with just one image. So I would highly encourage you having more A+ content. If you have recipes in there, show some recipes. If you have some natural food tips for better health, maybe show a couple of the tips, just things like that. So you can get creative. You can also look at your competitors to see what they did for A+ content, but you definitely want to take full advantage so a person can see what nice of a book you created. And I am sure it's a great book. So looking at your categories, this one looks fine. So it looks like we're all targeting children, but personally, just from the title and the cover, I didn't get the impression that this was for kids. Looking at your description, I can see that now, but I would suggest also having something in your subtitle that this is for younger people. But then at the same time, I would also question why you're only targeting younger audience, because natural foods is something that everybody could be interested in, and maybe even more so mothers or adults. So maybe that's something to consider and take a look at. But here I can see a nice profile picture. It's a really good picture, so nice on that. And good job for having a author description, but no reviews. So that's something we also want to fix. So if you need reviews or readers, you can check out the ARC service that we released recently to help you get your first reviews. And then that should help you with that. But the main thing preventing you from getting sales is definitely your title, subtitle with your main keywords, potentially the price, at which point maybe we can try a black and white version of this book. And yeah, so I hope that was helpful. If you liked it, please leave a like. And if you want to support the channel, leave a comment down below and subscribe so you can see tomorrow's video. Bye for now.